Aion 2 heading to the second week after release, and a lot of interesting things happened, a lot of maintenance, a lot of updates. We are here to give you a quick rundown of everything that happened during those days, to keep you guys updated on what's going on in the game. Keep in mind, I'll try to explain things so people who aren't playing the game, right now at least, but plan to play when Global comes out, will understand everything that's going on. The first thing I want us to talk about is a general perspective, a general take on what happened at release. Well, did the Taiwanese and Korean players like the game after all, even with all the problems? And speaking of problems, there was a lot of maintenance and a lot of updates to fix bugs and other issues. I have to give it to them though. Despite all the problems, despite the disastrous release, when you couldn't log in, there were DDoS attacks, lots of verification issues, and the list keeps going. They keep dropping updates to fix all the exploits and the issues that they currently have, and they are aiming, of course, for the long run. At this point, I feel like, from a third-party perspective at least, that the game is basically in open beta. I know, well, Korean and Taiwanese players are testing the game, so everything can be fixed for us in global. So in theory, I shouldn't complain at all, because if the game really comes out after summer, we're expecting the game to be out on global probably after summer. This is a speculation and I have no official information about it. We'll be able to play at least the game, one of the best possible games I could say, and yes, I mean one of the best games, because if you truly like hard grind Korean MMOs, this game does it really well, especially for a cross-platform title, right? And if you don't want to take my word for it, you can check out multiple Korean and Taiwanese forums and websites. The game is doing really well there. They've also made a lot of money from the game, and that's actually huge. And you know that as it gets smoother, it creates this vibe, that the better vibe that you're getting from the game, so people actually tend to spend more as time goes by. On the contrary, there were plenty of negative reviews as well, but mostly judging the server issues rather than the gameplay itself, and this is something worth mentioning. My community definitely has embraced the game, and we are playing, we are rolling actually, we're cooking on this game, baby. I mean, it's not even out global yet, and yet we still have plenty of people on Discord doing things around. So I guess the game does something right. I'm not going to give you a full review today, I'm planning to do that soon, but I want to give you a general idea of how people feel about the game, at least now that the problems are starting to fading off. And for sure, especially the people that are into this kind of games, right? So yeah, despite all the problems, it seems that the vast majority like the game. Let's hope they keep improving, so we in the West can enjoy the game without any problems. Now the next thing I want to talk about regarding the recent changes is the free-to-play experience. Well, when the game was released, they had very aggressive monetization. I know that some people will call me out and for saying that they had aggressive monetization, assuming that now they don't. There is a difference between monetization and aggressive monetization. I'm not gonna go into details here, but I'm planning to do that when I will truly cover the pay-to-win part of the game. There were packs you could buy from this section over here, if I'm not mistaken, and you could get instant power. You could buy Kina as well, which is the free-to-play currency, and it's very important in the game for those that don't know it. I believe there was also extra time for Abyss, basically things that could help you progress your account faster, alright? They decided to remove everything, so now the shop is technically clean. You can't buy packs that give you direct power anymore, which is very common for mobile games. Here they have nothing. You can though still buy Kuna, which is the pay-to-win currency. With Kuna you can buy Kina, which is the free-to-play currency, and this currency can be also used in the market. So where you can buy everything you need to progress your character. So you can understand that the pay-to-win keeps going, but I'm not gonna take a side over here, just mentioning it, that at least the aggressive monetization faded off, and now you have straightforward buying Kuna, exchange them for Kina, buy things from the market. And speaking about Kina, I want to stay here for a bit. They made a lot of changes to this too, alright? Kina, which is the free-to-play currency. The increased Kina that you get from quests, from the main story, and regional missions, which are your side missions. You complete them just once, but now they award way more Kina. They also increased Kina from dungeons, which is a big deal. Plus, they reduced the cost of potions and scrolls by half, which is those things over here. And you basically... Well, all these changes made the free-to-play experience way much better. You need Kina to upgrade your gear early on, reset your skills, upgrade your Divinion tree, which is this thing over here. Don't get overwhelmed, guys. It's completely straightforward. You just place nodes there, you're getting power. That's it. You basically need Kina for everything in the game, right? Everything in the game requires the free-to-play currency. To add to that, they reduced the HP of bosses from level 42 and below as well. Now things are much easier and smoother for free-to-play players when it comes at least to leveling up, reaching max level, unlocking all the content, and starting the real game. Because honestly, the game really starts after level 45, because you unlock basically all the content nowadays. Now, another big topic in the community was the gap between high spenders, free-to-play players, subscription buyers, and exploiters, alright? There were a lot of exploiters who abused Kina farming, the free-to-play currency. They could farm it from dungeons and other sources way faster, and they were getting a lot of Kina in a daily basis, and they could just go to the market and buy everything. So some of them reached over 3000 combat power, which was actually wild. Within the first week, it's actually wild for someone that's not spending money. And as you can imagine, that was not great at all. You could buy literally all the pieces of gear. They could buy enhancement materials and everything that's aligned with your character progression. And the company's first move was to stop free-to-play players from buying items in the market. At first, if you didn't have a subscription, you couldn't sell, but you could still buy, alright? Now both options are gone for free-to-play players. You can't buy, you can't sell. And the second thing they did was add a daily cap for Kina farming from field and dungeon monsters in order to prevent that. 2 million Kina per day. And I'm telling you, even if you try to grind for it, it's not easy. At least some people say it can take 4 or 5 hours. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not planning to grind for 5 hours in the field in order to test that. If you guys know, if someone that's playing the game knows exactly, by any means, drop it down in the comments. But if you're planning to do that, remember there is a limit. Now, do I agree with stopping free-to-play players from using the market? Well, if a subscription lets me play without bots or exploiters ruining the game for me, well, I might be okay with it. I could definitely talk and negotiate about the price of the subscription though. But right now, getting the subscription feels like a necessity to play and enjoy the game from every single angle. You can use the market, which is very crucial for progression, and you get some insane daily benefits. And I'm talking about this thing over here. I'm not talking about the individual subscription. You need the combined, because both of those benefits are actually wild. So yeah, a subscription feels a must right now. Now about battle passes, cause some people don't know this, but you can grind Kina, craft it into a box, sell it in the market, and buy the battle passes with the Kina you earned, which is the free-to-play currency. So again, the subscription is the only thing that you really need, because it lets you use the market in the first place. Otherwise, you can't grind for the battle passes if you don't have the subscription, because you can't use the market. It's pretty straightforward. Just for a reference, it's not that expensive as well. The battle passes, remember, last for 2 months, not 1 month, and both of them cost in a total of 2,500. And if I go back to the market on the exchange tab, you'll notice that right now there are 44 sales, 838 each, so about 6 million. I can clean the battle passes with 6 million Kina, and trust me, it's not that hard to get them, especially in the late game. You can grind a decent amount. As mentioned earlier, they increased a lot the gains from dungeons, and if you have the subscription, you can do more dungeons since you get more energy, and you can grind more Kina. You can also sell the Kina to get your gems, your Kuna, the pay-to-win currency, and of course buy the battle passes. It's really straightforward, alright? So this is why I wanted to do a deep dive into the pay-to-win systems, as I feel like besides the subscription right now, there is literally nothing else that you really have to buy if you're planning to play the game, right? And by playing, I mean that you have to dedicate some hours every day. If you don't feel that you want to do that and you want to go deep dive in your wallet, that's also fine. If you want to go full free to play, full casual, again, probably you won't be able to compete anyway in the leaderboards, because those things over here, they have, what is it, rankings. The leaderboards require some time, alright? Definitely it's a big debate. Some people ask, why do I have to pay to use all the content? Yes, some content is locked behind money. It feels like, I said it before in another video that I've done, that this is straightforward pay-to-play model in a way that lets casual players jump in and enjoy the game. And some people also might ask, can free-to-play players be competitive though, without using the market at all? I'd say that yes, it's possible, because the best possible PvE gear comes from crafting, and the best possible PvP gear comes from playing the game. It will take more time, way more time, but it's doable. Gear and most things have caps, alright? So it depends on how often they add new content and, of course, raise the cap. Some things are harder to get, for sure. There are things like in the gear, I don't remember how this is called, let me check. They are called mana stones, and spending money, sure, will help speed up the process, but I don't see a huge gap. I'd say after 2 months in the game, for people that actually grinding hard as free-to-play players. So mostly we're talking about PvE. For PvP, remember, PvP gear is different from PvE gear. Let me go in swiftness to Abyss store so you guys can check it out. Here we're witnessing a PvP gear piece. So if you want to do PvP, you definitely need PvP gear, and you can't buy it with money. You have to play the game, grind Abyss points, and buy your PvP gear from the store with those points. Abyss points come from playing, and yes, you can get more with the battle pass or the subscription as you get more time, but also there is a cap here. I think it's 1 million per month. If I am wrong, please correct me in the comments and I'll pin it, but if I'm not mistaken, they added the cap in a monthly basis. There are a lot of ways to earn Abyss points though. As a matter of fact, they've added more ways to get those points through PvE activities, so you don't actually have to play PvP in order to get this gear. And many of my Legion mates, my comrades, using PvP gear in their slots, as the stats are quite similar, as you guys can see. There are not differences, and this gear only provides extra PvP damage boost. And the good PvE gear comes from crafting, with the comparison that grants PvE damage boost or damage tolerance, which is the reduction. So for PvP, I don't see a big gap between spenders and non-spenders, with the recent changes at least. The real gap is between people who play the game and people who play less the game. Playing more gives you more points, lets you get PvP gear faster, and makes you stronger, so there's that. The only difference by having the sub is that you will speed up the process, that you will be able to grind more Abyss points, but as well this comes down into how much hours can you dedicate in a daily basis in the game. Because even if with a subscription, if someone that's completely free to play can dedicate more time, do more things, you have to do a lot of things in the game, trust me. There are million things. I can't feel myself logging in the game, and even in 1 month from now, even in 6 months from now, and having nothing to do. Lastly, I want to talk about the changes to the open world PvP. Keep in mind, this game is very PvP focused. Even in the open world PvP, what you're really doing, or actually what you're really aiming for, is PvE. I won't go into many details in this video, I'm not gonna break down the rifts, but the game has something called rifts, and those are portals that lets you travel from one world to another. So currently I am an Asmodean to the Asmodean map, alright, and only with the rift, when that spawns, I can travel from here to Verteron, which is the Helios map, and what I am doing there is clearing the dungeons from the other side. As you see, I have only 10%, I'm slacking on this and I have to work harder on that in order for me to get not the Abyss points, not the enhancement stones. Those are also important, but what you're really after are those things over here, and that this translates into more combat power. So I can't see a world that people as a priority at least, getting into rifts won't focus clearing the dungeons, right? You'll get stronger, you'll be able to clear more content by having more combat power. So this is why I said it's more PvE focused as a game. Of course, some players who focused on PvP or were higher level could kill lower level players in order to farm abyss points, this thing over here. And that was a bad experience, especially for newer casual players who were still leveling up. So they decided to change this as well. And now you unlock rifts at level 45. You can't enter rifts if you're 45 and below. And also, if the level difference is more than 5, you can't attack those players. I am quite positive that if I am level 45 and the other person is level 39, I can't attack him, but I don't know if that works as well vice versa. If I am the lower level, if I can attack a higher level, alright? Since I am 45, from the change I haven't found any lower level that try to attack me, so there is that as well. Now this makes things simpler for new players. You just need to get your character to level 45 and explore the map. You can't do much before that anyway, because most content, this is also weird in this game, most content unlocks from level 45. Look how many things you get at level 45, which is basically the entire game. And of course you can't experience PvP until you are max level right now, so like I said, the game is much more PvE focused at the moment. Those were the biggest changes and the hottest news in the game over the past few days. I've also decided to main this game when it comes out. Definitely I'm dedicating so much time at this point, and the overall vibe I get so far is very positive. We actually switched server as well, because the previous one was full of disconnects, full of DDoS, full of problems, and I'm having a blast the past days. Well, I'm planning to cover the game as well on the channel. Keep that in mind, so subscribe if you are interested for more Aion 2 content. Thanks for watching. If you think I missed anything important, please let me know in the comments and I'll pin it if it's crucial. And until next time, see ya!